is good, they're accurate.
At Blaine's Farm and Fleet, we get you outdoors because we get you. When it's time to knock out spring projects, we get you the right products at the right prices. Like $200 off a Milwaukee M18 High Torque Impact Wrench and Grease Gun Combo Kit, only $4.99, featuring the best combination of power and size on the market. Plus, get Blaine's Best Price Promise. If you find an item we carry anywhere else for less, Blaine's Farm and Fleet will match the price, guaranteed.
Find value at Blaine's Farm and Fleet.
It's time for another NL Central throwdown at American Family Field.
The 3-2 delivery. High drive. Deep right field. Back goes Reynolds. Grand slam.
The Brewers and Pirates face off with coverage starting today at 11:35 on your home of the Milwaukee Brewers. News Radio 620 WTMJ Milwaukee.
10:01, we have sunshine and 56 degrees. Lots of sun today with high 62 lakeside, 70 inland. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Connie Weber. Two presidents going head-to-head. President Biden agrees to debate former President Donald Trump on June 27th on CNN. The invitation comes after the Biden campaign called on Trump to participate in two presidential debates hosted by news organizations. President Biden's also promising to protect and continue the Affordable Care Act if he's reelected. Speaking exclusively with 1017 The Truth's Sherman Hughes, the president denounced attempts by Republicans to repeal the act.
Mr. President, can you commit to protecting the Affordable Care Act?
You know, the Republicans tried to get rid of it 50 times, and Trump committed to get rid of it, said he's going to get rid of it now. And why in God's name are they doing that? But I absolutely guarantee you, it will not pass on my watch.
You can hear the full interview on our website, WTMJ.com. Slovakia's prime minister has been shot.
Fico, the country's populist leader, has been wounded and taken to the hospital. Reports on TA3, a Slovakian TV station, say the 59-year-old was hit in the stomach after 4 shots were fired outside the House of Culture in the town of Handlova, some 90 miles northeast of the capital, where he was meeting with supporters. A suspect has been detained. Tom Rivers, ABC News at the Foreign Desk.
UW System President Jay Rothman is not happy with how UW Milwaukee ended a 2-week pro-Palestinian encampment.
Rothman says he's reviewing the decision-making behind the deal made between UW Milwaukee and student protesters. That deal includes UWM calling for a ceasefire in Gaza and agreeing not to ticket students who were camping. In contrast, Rothman appeared to support the deal made with protesters at UW-Madison days earlier, as well as use of law enforcement there. Rothman issued a statement saying in part, quote, "We need to ensure that there is accountability and responsibility for actions taken on our campuses," end quote. Jessica Gatso, WTMJ News.
An MPS assistant principal accused of child abuse and assaulting a relative in front of staff. Talisha Lockett accused of dragging a relative to the floor and punching her for at least 10 minutes in front of school staff on April 19th. The victim, an 11-year-old student who's related to Lockett and attended the Golda Meir School upper campus. Criminal complaint says multiple school staff watched the assault but did not intervene. Lockett pleading not guilty and faces a combined maximum fine of $35,000 and up to 18 and a half years in prison. The corruption trial of Senator Bob Menendez in its third day. Yesterday, potential jurors learned some of the people who might be called to testify against the New Jersey Democrat include Republican Senator Lindsey Graham and Democratic Senator Cory Booker. Menendez accused of taking bribes, including cash and gold bars, in exchange for helping 3 New Jersey businessmen. Inflation was down slightly in April. Consumer prices up 3.4% for the previous 12 months. ABC's Elizabeth Schulze says Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell still watching to see when the Fed will adjust interest rates.
What this report will likely do is give them a little bit of confidence that they can start lowering borrowing costs. So that affects a mortgage, a new car loan. But it's probably not going to happen for a little while still. They want to see continued improvement. As the Fed chair says, as Powell says, we're not quite there yet. We need to get a little bit more time to see if this data keeps cooling, if we're still heading in the right direction with inflation.
Cost of gas and shelter accounted for more than 70% of the monthly inflation numbers. Time for news about your money and the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. The Dow is up 199 points, NASDAQ up 136, and S&P 500 up 37. It's a great time for your retirement and investment strategy review from a fee-only fiduciary. Go to annexwealth.com and click the Get Started button now. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Citing Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 10:05.
It pretty much hurt doing anything. I couldn't ride a bicycle. You don't have your life because you don't have your mobility.
So when Patrick heard about QC Kinetics here in Milwaukee and their non-invasive regenerative treatments for pain, no waiting, he called them immediately.
There's no downtime. There's no rehab. That was the tipping point for me. I didn't have to take any drugs. I didn't have to rehab.
Before considering surgery, check out QC Kinetics all-natural treatment options that restore and repair damaged joint tissue in your knees, hips, shoulders, and back.
If you have knee replacement surgery, and then the knee is not yours, and there's no guarantee that that's going to be successful.
QC Kinetics. Patients around the country are raving about the results. They're getting back their mobility, taking back their lives with no downtime, no drugs, and no surgery. Don't wait. Call QC Kinetics today for your complimentary consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
Do you suffer from bugxiety or a fear of bugs? Zevo has the answer. Try Zevo Insect Killer Sprays to get rid of those pesky bugs in your home. Zevo sprays kill up to 20 different types of bugs with ingredients you can feel good about. They're safe for use around people and pets when used as directed. Breathe easy. You've got Zevo. Zevo. People friendly. Bug deadly. Ant roach and fly, ant roach and spider, and fly gnat and fruit fly variants.
Our daughter Jessie loves playing detective.
A clue.
But since we discovered she has sensitive skin, we've been playing detective too.
We thought the problem was our puppy.
But it was actually our old detergent.
Aha!
So we switched to Tide Free and Gentle. Tide cleans better than the leading competitive free detergent, and it doesn't leave behind irritating residues.
Plus, Tide Free and Gentle has no dyes or perfumes, so it's gentle on her skin.
Case closed.
If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Free and Gentle.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. The Brewers edged the Pirates 4-3 from American Family Field. Brew Crew will go for the series win this afternoon. The entire 2024 NFL regular season schedule released tonight. Green Bay starts the season in South America. Jordan Love and the Packers battle Jalen Hurts and the Eagles in the league's first ever Brazil game in Week 1. Take a look at the roads now with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. No major delays. Looking at typical drive times. 94 eastbound from Highway Q to the Zoo, about a 10-minute drive. 4145 south from Highway Q to the Zoo, about a 14-minute drive. And 94 north from Layton to the Marquette interchange, about 6 minutes this morning.
Traffic is sponsored by Capri Community's Enjoy Life Active Aging Symposium. Visit EnjoyLifeSymposium.com. Live life to the fullest at the Enjoy Life Active Aging Symposium. This free, fun, and uplifting day for older adults 55 plus includes speakers, exhibitors, and much more. June 11th at the Brookfield Conference Center.
Here's your Storm Team 4 5-day forecast. Sunny today, high 62 to 70. Clear and 48 overnight. As scattered rain and storms mainly tomorrow evening, with highs 68 lakeside, 72 inland. A shower early on Friday with highs in the upper 60s to mid 70s. Partly cloudy. Saturday evening showers, highs in the lower to upper 70s. And Sunday sunshine with highs 74 lakeside, about 78 inland. Madison 59, Green Bay 57, Milwaukee 55 degrees. I'm Connie Weber. Sighting Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 10:08.
Broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue in beautiful downtown Milwaukee. It's time for the Upswing on WTMJ, showcasing businesses, entrepreneurs, and community leaders throughout the great state of Wisconsin. Here's your host, Jeff Sherman.
'Cause I'm gonna make this place your home.
Good morning, Wisconsin. Good morning, Milwaukee. Game on today on the Upswing. The business of sports comes to the show today. And just a show note here, whether you watch or listen, however you do, friendly reminder, WTMJ.com. In the upper right corner, you click on the link. You can watch the show on YouTube. You can watch all the shows on YouTube. But we just might make this a regular feature. Been having a lot of fun conversations with sports executives in the area, marketing professionals, and others, including our returning guest today, the one and only Mark Cass, the executive director of the Wisconsin Athletic Hall of Fame and senior executive at Team Lammy. Obviously, lots of interest in the ever-changing sports and business worlds in Greater Milwaukee and across the great state of Wisconsin. So, Mark, welcome. How you doing today?
Welcome back. It seems like I never left. Right?
That's right.
It's been a week or two. It's
That's
okay.
right.
I mean, I feel like I've left the station. I came back and they took away my key. I mean, I couldn't get in the door this morning. But no, I mean, obviously, great to be back. Great to be in this new role. Great to be doing sports. I mean, what a time.
Yeah,
it's like an amazing time in sports. Amazing time in this city with all that's going on. You know, it's fun. I mean, I was out at the stadium over the weekend for the Brewers, and great crowds, great energy for that team. Yeah. Just seeing that. But also watching the NBA playoffs has kind of made me sad. Has it made you sad, Jeff?
Yeah,
a little bit. Watching the Knicks and the Pacers going
a little bit.
I mean, it should have been the Bucks.
Yeah, I like to be the. We can talk about it later.
Right.
But I'm like, I like seeing what's happening in Cleveland. Cleveland, the downtown's coming alive.
Yeah,
I don't know if they're going to win the series. They're down 3-1. They probably won't. But it's great to see that energy and that halo effect that happens in downtowns when your team makes the second round or the third round.
We saw it in 21, didn't we? We saw it was huge. But it would be nice to see the Bucks and the Knicks.
Yeah,
that would have been a great series. That would have been a lot of fun.
All right. Well, I want to get the recap of the big annual Packers charity softball game that was last Friday in Green Bay. It was a big Team Lammy event.
It was.
And Team Lammy partner, Donald Driver, completed a pass of sorts, right? Kind of passed the torch on to the next chair of the celebrity softball game, who is?
Mr. Love, who's obviously the new quarterback of the Packers, had a great year last year. He's now getting really involved in the community. He's formed a new foundation to get involved. So it was kind of the handing of the torch, kind of as you said, the throwing of the pass to Jordan.
Right.
So he'll run this game for the future years. It's something that's been going on for 23 years. It went from Favre to Rodgers to Driver. I mean, everybody's had a role in it. It's a huge game up there. I was shocked, Jeff. I got up there about 3 o'clock or so, probably a little bit before, and 6:15 was the start, only because of the rain that was coming.
Right.
At 3 o'clock, the line to get into the lot was 30 or 40 already. The line to wait for the players was like 100 already.
Jeez.
An hour before we opened up the gates, there were 300 or 400 in line outside trying to get in. It's crazy. 6,000 fans or so.
Okay.
On a Friday night, beautiful Friday night, other than the rain, they came at 8 o'clock. But, we got almost all the game in. It was more about the offense. And also I learned about rules. There aren't as many rules as I think about it. I mean, at one point, I think the offense had 9 outfielders.
Okay.
I'm not sure if those are really the rules.
I don't think that's
going to
pass. Yeah.
Somehow the offense won the game. I mean, how does that work? Because it's Jordan Love's team. But no, great night, great energy, and a lot of money raised. And what I think is amazing is everyone's in the stands just is happy.
Yeah.
They're happy to see these guys play. The players are interactive. They're doing autographs. They're doing photos. They're talking to the fans. Where do you see that? I mean, it's just a great chance to interact with these players who love it. I mean, they just had a great time. It was a great event. So much fun.
Yeah, you love the community building around sports. And it was also the launch of Jordan Love's new foundation, the Hands of Love Foundation, that's going to bring awareness to mental health and suicide and work to further unite law enforcement in the community in the greater Green Bay area. Right. So that's a wonderful launch, and to use that platform. And where do you see Jordan Love's kind of marketability going now that he's front and center?
Off the charts. And I want to step back a little bit to Driver. Obviously for him, I think it was neat. He's run it all these years. He's come to this game. He comes back to Milwaukee a lot. He's really involved. So to see him there, see all he's done to hand it off to Jordan and say, hey, Jordan, kind of it's all yours. And it was also neat to hear that he reached out to Love when he was drafted and said, hey, if there's any way I can help you, please let me know. Yeah. And apparently they've been talking a lot. So to see that, but for Jordan Love, off the charts. He had a great year last year, kind of a great end of the year. He's about to get a huge contract. After we saw what happened this week with the Lions, how much money that was handed out there. But kind of what I met there that night was a very humble man, very somebody who was very involved with through the other players, was very involved with the fans, and now wants to give back. So I think you're going to see him, obviously, it's all about on the field, right? As long as he continues to play well on the field, which I don't see why he wouldn't, you'll see him involved in sponsorships and commercials, kind of what he wants.
Okay.
And, I also see him involved in the community. The fact that he already has a foundation, already wants to be involved in the community, obviously wants to get involved with these issues, which are good issues for Green Bay, hopefully in Milwaukee. I've seen him already in Milwaukee a couple times at the Bucks games. So I think he's going to – think about this. We could have – 3 great quarterbacks in a row.
Yeah.
What are the odds of that?
It's great, yes. So when we come back, we'll continue conversation with Mark Cass. Playoffs, they matter. But how much and to whom? This is The Upswing, and you're listening to WTMJ.
For the ultimate sports betting experience, get in the game at Potawatomi Sportsbook. Unleash your inner champion with dozens of betting kiosks, a VIP deck, high-end bar, first-class restaurant, broadcast booth, a 2,000-square-foot video wall, and more. It's a sports fan's paradise, 24/7. Bet above the rest. Only at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. Visit the website for more. Must be 21 years old. All bets must be made on site.
I'll say it again. Our mission is to protect and uphold our reputation. And what that means is wherever we go, we make it better for those in need of our services and the great people we have working with us. Our reputation matters. It matters to us, and it should matter to you. We believe that operating with integrity will set us apart from our competitors, and that this attracts people to us that share these same values. I say this because I want you to know when you work with Semper Fi, character counts. It's why you can count on the industry's hands-down best lifetime workmanship warranty that now includes free annual inspections. And it's why we always have one project manager per job, which is absolutely not the industry standard. When you're paying for a brand new roof to go on what's likely the biggest investment you have, you want it done right, and you want to be able to count on the people doing it. This is Brad Youngworth with Semper Fi Roofing and Exteriors, your local, veteran-owned and operated exterior remodeling company.
Keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semper Fi.
Need to hire quality candidates fast? You need Indeed. Our video interview tool makes it easy and effortless to meet with candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Playoffs?
Welcome back to the Upswing, the business of sports, today with Mark Cass, Executive Director of the Wisconsin Athletic Hall of Fame. Mark, it is Admirals playoff time, and after losing the first 2 games on the road, the Admirals came back. They won 3 in a row in 5 days on their home ice at the UWM Panther Arena to advance to the AHL Central Division Finals. Now they play tonight. They have Game 2 on Monday at home. What's the impact of the Admirals playoffs, especially with the Baird Center opening and being a partner in the Wisconsin Center District?
It's big. I mean, it's not like the NBA playoffs. I mean, let's be honest. But on the other hand, it's activity on a Wednesday night right in the heart of the city. Yeah. Major Goolsby's loves it, I can tell you that. They'll have a big crowd.
Yeah.
I'm sure the Trade Hotel, all the things in kind of around there are going to see people down here because, I mean, I've said this 100 times. It's important when a team wins. And when you win in the playoffs, it's even more important, and it brings people in the energy. I mean, the Admirals got 3 home games. I'm sure they would have preferred to have less home games to advance.
Yeah.
But, from a revenue standpoint, if John Greenberg will be honest with you, he got 3 home games.
Exactly.
And he made money off those 3 games. Not the way he wanted to go, but it worked out really well.
Well, and it builds the story arc, too, when you're able to come back like that. And it gets into the non-fan, which is important for any team, but especially a team like the
and
Admirals.
energy is key, and the fact that they won these 3 games, the fact that they had a great year. They won, like 20 in a row or 19 in a row at one point. So they had a really great year, but that energy excitement is important because it doesn't always help this year, Jeff. It helps next year.
Yeah.
And the season seats they'll sell in August and September and October are really important to a team like the Admirals to get those guaranteed seats every game. So, no, this is key. I mean, if they win this series and they move on, again, really important.
Yep.
I mean, the longer you play, the more home games you get, the more money you make.
Yep.
And then the more shirts you sell, the more hats you sell, the more beers you sell.
Yep.
It's just so important. That's why, we'll probably talk about what happened with the Bucks. That was a big revenue hit for the Bucks.
Yeah.
Not even just on the floor, off the floor, to not advance it really hurts.
Yeah, scheduling venues, it's one of the interesting things from the Admirals' perspective.
Yep.
Obviously, again, you have Game 1 tonight. You got Game 2 on Monday. Game 5 would come back to Milwaukee on the 26th, but there aren't any weekend games because the medical college graduation is at the UWM Panther Arena on Friday. UWM graduation is on Sunday. So to kind of schedule around that is tricky.
It is.
Yeah, but at the same time, if you're a fan, you're going to make
You're going to go.
I
think what they may lose is a little walk-up, which you may see on a Friday night or a Sunday afternoon. But, again, you're going to get the fans there. You're going to get the excitement there, the energy. So it's important. So, I get it, but you got to work with what you got.
Yeah. In terms of the impact of having no Bucks playoffs in the downtown market, it softens it a bit. And I think, looking into next season, what are you seeing from a fan perspective and even a business and sponsorship lens?
This one hurt, I'll say, because there was expectations on this team to advance further than the first round, no doubt. So not to have these games right now. It's been hard for me to watch the Knicks series on TV. It really has been.
Right.
But to see that energy we saw in 21, 22, when they went a little further, obviously 23 and 24 have not worked out well for them. It hurts. It hurts the restaurants. It hurts the hotel. Think about the trade. The trade for these games would be packed. So this is no doubt an economic impact off the court. For the team, right now I think there's a little bit of kind of a ho-hum attitude, right? There's kind of, okay, we thought they were going to go further.
Right.
Are we excited about next year? I'm not really sure. The thing about 21 that was great for them is they sold so many seats already for the next season throughout the playoffs, which they now don't have. Now they don't have the energy and excitement I've talked about, and they're going to have to create that. Last year they got the trade, obviously, of Lillard in September, which generated a ton of excitement.
Buzz, yeah.
What do they do this year?
Obviously, we're still locked in with two superstars, but then you kind of you got a lot of free agents that they got to make decisions on. You got someone like Patrick Beverley that has, said, hey, I want to see what goes on here, but I played well enough to get a little bump. Did his brand take a hit at the end of that series?
Yeah.
And what does that mean from a marketing standpoint?
100% he hurt his brand. There's no doubt what happened. Not only on the court, but then in the locker room, kind of the attitude he had and then kind of fallout. And then it took him about a week to apologize. I've often said to people, kind of if you screw up, if you make a mistake, you should apologize immediately. I think the thing with Bobby Portis, which we'll talk about, was different. He came out right away and apologized. Yeah. It took him a while to apologize. He got suspended and then he apologized. You know what I'm saying? So that, I think it hurts your brand. I think, when you talk about kind of what they wanted in terms of the locker room, in terms of the community, it didn't fit.
Yeah.
You cannot throw a ball at a fan. I don't care what they say. Right. You have to get security involved and have them removed if it's something bad. You can't do that. And then the way to treat the media, just doesn't fit right here in Milwaukee or in the NBA. I thought it was a huge mistake and a big hit on his reputation.
All right, when we come back from the break, brand building continues. We'll talk Bobby Portis and who are the Brewers' most marketable stars as the season begins. This is The Upswing, and you're listening to WTMJ.
May 13th is the start of Law Enforcement Week. Join the truth as we share a special program, Too Black, Too Blue. Voices of black officers living in the double consciousness of two disjointed worlds. Stay tuned for more.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
One of the best things about being in business for 25 years is having clients recommend AccuNet to their now adult children for help buying their first homes. That's how I connected with Dan and Allison, and let me tell you, they were fast learners. They quickly embraced our most powerful tool for winning offers, Appraisal Wiggle Room. Their first offer was $15,000 over asking and included a provision which AccuNet guaranteed they could afford to make that they would still pay the higher offer price even if the appraised value came in up to $15,000 short. The result? Accepted offer versus several others on the very first try. And by the way, if the appraisal had come in $15,000 short, which it did not, Dan and Allison would have needed exactly $0 extra at the closing table. If you think all mortgage lenders are the same, think again. Go with a multi-generation mortgage lender that has the tools and know-how to help you win. Click on the blue button today at accunet.com.
Don't think twice. Call Geis.
Since 1955, Geis has been the trusted garage authority in Wisconsin. Hey, don't let a busted garage door get you down. Call my friends at Geis today. With brands like CHI and LiftMaster, they have doors for every budget. They'll even build custom designs to meet your exact needs. For swift and reliable garage repair solutions, go to geisdoors.com. You can also visit their amazing showroom in Brookfield featuring hundreds of doors and openers and their custom design room.
Don't think twice. Call Geis.
Even when you get a great price, diamonds cost a lot of money.
But we want you to be able to buy the engagement ring you really want.
You won't have to settle for anything less than fantastic when you come to Kessler's.
We do everything in our power to make it possible for you to give her that magical engagement ring you really want her to have.
Friendly financing makes it possible.
We can give you 0% interest for 12 months with approved credit.
And with approved credit, we can give you 36 months to pay with just 9.99%.
And if getting your credit approved is a problem, we've even got second chance financing for people who deserve a second chance.
Don't settle for second best. Come to Kessler's.
Seriously, we do everything in our power to make it possible for you to give her that magical engagement ring you really want her to have.
That's the sort of thing you can expect from us when you hear us say, welcome to Kessler's.
Welcome to Kessler's.
For the location of the Kessler's nearest you, go to KesslersDiamonds.com. And one more thing. Welcome to Kessler's.
Welcome back to the Upswing. Mark Cass joins us today, the business of sports. The Brewers are off to a 25-17 start, essentially tied for first place with the Cubs. And I always argue that, baseball is kind of the perfect, let's get out and enjoy the weather sport. Yep. Obviously, wins matter, and, they're way better than expected, I think, from the fans' lens early on in the season. 16th in the league in attendance, almost 28,000, puts the Crew kind of right in the middle of the pack, ahead of the Mets, ahead of the Twins, ahead of the White Sox, and 11 other teams.
Which is fascinating.
Really good, isn't it?
Because we are the smallest market in the major leagues, remember that? I've always been amazed. The Brewers normally are in the 12 range, kind of 10 to 12, drawn 28 to kind of the low 30s, so I think they've done well. I think winning helps. April and May are their hardest months anyways because of school and because of groups. You don't get a lot of groups that come out in April and May, so I've often heard that from the team. But I think what helps the Brewers, and what should help them in June and July and August, is that they're winning now, which creates excitement for the team. And if they continue to win, I think they'll draw really well. And they want to draw $3 million. I mean, they always want to draw $3 million, and which would be an amazing. I mean, think about that. Even if they end up in the 12th spot in terms of attendance, it's smallest market in the major leagues. They're outdrawing the Mets. Yeah. They're outdrawing, the Marlins. Think about the Marlins crowds and kind of like, I mean, it's kind of you and I and three other guys at those games.
A lot of leg room.
There's a lot of leg room in down there. So, I mean, to me, the Brewers do well, but it's also more important here.
Yeah.
Because attendance in Milwaukee, as compared to attendance, obviously with the Mets, is not the same just because of the media money. There's so much more media money out in New York and media money elsewhere. So the Brewers need that attendance, and they need the revenue from us eating at the park and the shirts and the hats and everything. I was out there over the weekend for Mother's Day. Huge crowd, 34,000, I think, 35,000 on Sunday. I was out there for the Yankees series, sold out. So they're doing well, and I also like this new. All the teams come here every other year, so that the Yankees come. And the Red Sox will be actually in a couple weeks. I'm going to see the White Sox.
Okay.
I haven't seen the White Sox play in Milwaukee, and I don't know how long.
Yeah, there's still a specialness to seeing those teams. Yeah, you're I got to be there because they.
I saw the Angels play, and that was cool because of Trout and just getting to see him play was kind of cool. Getting the Yankees, to see Aaron Judge play was great because I hadn't seen him play live like that before. So I think that helps.
So is there a difference in the marketability of baseball players? Like, obviously, Lammy works with a lot of football players and a lot of celebrities, but what's the key to marketing baseball players?
Yeah, it seems like they just don't have as many opportunities. I think maybe it's the length of the season, maybe the larger team they're on. There's obviously 9 players, 25. So I think maybe that's part of it. Not as many true superstars per se. I think in Milwaukee we have a number of players who've done well. You obviously have Kristen.
Yelich,
who's had sponsored deals.
Yep.
I think in the future you'll see deals for like Adames. He seems to be an up and coming star. Contreras, again, a star right now.
Yeah.
I think some of their really young players, kind of like you and I were talking in terms of Cheerio.
Yeah.
He will be a star. He could have some really good sponsorship opportunities. Yeah. Not in 24, but in 25, 20, all depending how he plays. I think Sal Frelick has an opportunity, but again, they just don't seem to be as large as some of the NFL things you see and the NBA deals. Think about Giannis. Think about how many times you see Giannis on a commercial as compared to times you see, somebody like Kristen Yelich on a commercial. It's just not close.
Right. And you never know. Does Devin Williams come back from the back injury?
Yep.
Obviously, he's the big name and someone people attached to.
All-star
so there might
player.
be opportunities there for Devin Williams if he can come back and be successful.
I think the Brewers are also trying to be more active in the community, which I think helps.
Yeah.
As their foundation, as they help the youth groups, which they do at a really good pace, get involved. I think that helps. It maybe helps draw in some of that. But again, it just is not at the level of other sports, and I'm not sure if it ever has been.
Yeah. So obviously the 2025 NFL draft has shipped across the lake to Wisconsin in that ceremony.
Event.
That was a great event.
And then they rode all the way up to Green Bay. That was pretty cool. I give them credit.
Honing in on what makes it successful. We had the Lake Express on a couple weeks ago, and they kind of previewed that event, and it's great to see. Do you think, kind of going back to the Brewers' point, could the Packers be featured in a show like Hard Knocks, and what would that mean from a celebrity standpoint? I got some more when we come back from the break on what's happening in Hard Knocks on HBO.
Yeah, that's fun. That would be fun for us. They've never really wanted to do that, have they? They've always kind of shied away. I think it'd be great. I don't see it's also not a huge market. Again, as HBO because I love Hard Knocks. I watch it every year. Yeah. I love the inner stuff you get to see, all the conversations, the players you get to meet. I think it'd be great in Green Bay because it would show off the city. Yeah. It would be good. I don't know. They just never have seemed to show any interest in it at all.
So just today, HBO announced a new Hard Knocks show featuring off-season of the New York Giants.
Oh, really?
The entirely new series is different from the current Hard Knocks shows.
Interesting.
Which is going to showcase teams which usually showcase teams during the training camps and season. Yeah. So they're going to start with an off-season show, but then they may do something different in season. We'll talk about that.
Interesting. Love that.
After the break. WTMJ News Time is 10:30. ABC News and local headlines are coming up next.
ABC News, I'm Brian Clark. President Biden and former President Donald Trump could meet on the debate stage as soon as late June. Biden said he's accepted an invitation from CNN to debate June 27th. Trump told Fox he would be in for that. ABC's Karen Travers says the Biden campaign's not taking part in debates produced by the Commission on Presidential Debates.
The Biden campaign says in a letter to the Commission on Presidential Debates that its model is, quote, out of step with changes in the structure of our elections and the interest of voters.
Biden's proposed a second debate in September. Trump says they should debate more than twice. Facebook page of Slovakia's Prime Minister Robert Fico says he's in life-threatening condition after he was shot in the stomach. He's being flown to a hospital. The suspect has been detained. For the first time in 5 years, U.S. drug overdose deaths declined. 107,543 people died last year, a 3% decrease from 2022. This is ABC News.
Citing Unlimited WTMJ News Time 10:31, the Milwaukee County Transit System's summer schedule includes extended service from the Connect One bus rapid transit line. The BRT route will officially lay over at the Couture Transit Concourse starting June 2nd. Additionally, Route 18 will be expanded to the Industries for the Blind and Visually Impaired in West Allis. In January, both lines ranked in the top 10 in terms of ridership numbers across the system. Milwaukee County Parks could be opening 2 additional deep well pools this summer as their roster of lifeguards is growing. Parks Department tells Milwaukee County supervisors they expect to have about 110 lifeguards ready to work this summer. That's up 10% from 2023. The department also plans
You're hearing it every day. Another political ad, another agenda. But no matter what happens in this election or the next, you still have the power to control your financial future. Elections can impact a lot of things, including the stock market, inflation, and taxes. And if you're thinking about retirement, I'd love to get you our Retirement Ready Toolkit to prepare you for the retirement you've always envisioned. Our team of advisors at Drake & Associates will show you how your savings might be affected and what you can do now to help prepare. Don't let this election or any election control your retirement future. Call or text PREPARE to 414-441-5451 to get your complimentary Retirement Ready Toolkit. That's PREPARE to 414-441-5451.
Investment advisory services provided by Drake & Associates, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Insurance products are offered through a separate company, Loft Financial Advisory Group, LLC, a Wisconsin insurance agency. Clients are under no obligation to purchase any recommended insurance products.
I'm not against shopping online. In fact, you can check out our huge selection at BurkhartSportingGoods.com. But when you're ready to buy, Burkhart should be your only stop. Because here, you can grab hold of the Midwest's largest selection of baseball bats, gloves, and equipment, and take all the swings you need in our indoor batting cages to make sure you buy the right bat. And when you buy your new mitt, we'll steam and custom fit it for you right on the spot. This is Brian Burkhart, and when you love baseball and softball like we do,
you can't beat Burkhart.
If you're in charge of uniforms and equipment, you want to get the most value for your team's budget. You want the most for your money, and you want the process to be easy. Because you already have enough on your plate. We get it. Burkhart Sporting Goods Team Outfitting Division is the best you'll find. With an abnormally high customer satisfaction rate and our own silks
and economic impact, looking at almost $100 million for the state, approximately $20 million alone in Green Bay. What do you think the statewide Milwaukee implications of the draft will be, Mark?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's huge. I think what I saw from watching the draft a couple weeks ago over in Detroit was this is a big event. This has become a monster event. Is it Super Bowl-like? Not quite at the level, but obviously pretty close.
Yeah.
You know, it's 3 days. It's people come in. So I think the impact on Milwaukee is going to be substantial because you can't, I mean, let's be honest, you can't fit all these people in Green Bay. I mean, they can't all stay there. They can't all eat there. There's just not enough room. So I think it's going to spill over to Appleton, spill over to Oshkosh, spill over to Kohler and Sheboygan, and it's going to be Milwaukee. They're going to be sponsors. They're going to be fans who will stay in Milwaukee and who will take a bus up to Green Bay, will drive up to Green Bay for the event. I think you're going to see some events held here.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're going to see some of the players maybe come through here as they're drafted.
Yeah.
I think there's an opportunity, and Visit Milwaukee is all over this, to really highlight our city as a great place to stay and to hang out. I mean, could there be an event at the convention center? Could there be some sort of draft event there?
Yeah.
Yes, because it just makes sense. You have something that's going on in Green Bay, but there's just, from a logistical standpoint, what I saw happen over there was it just can't fit in Green Bay. Great. I mean, this is great. I think it'll be great for Green Bay, but I think it'll be even greater for the state.
Yeah, and it's apples and oranges comparison a bit to compare it to the RNC.
Oh, yeah.
But the reality is, with a draft, you have a huge fan base coming in where we're not going to have that for the RNC. So from a fan standpoint, we're going to need that surface area, no matter if it's Green Bay or Milwaukee or anywhere in between.
Hotels, a lot of hotels, a lot of restaurants. A lot of people want to play. Kind of throughout the day, want to go out and play some golf, want to hang out, do stuff. So yeah, this is a great opportunity to have an event, to have things to highlight Milwaukee, to do kind of draft events, even if you're not in Green Bay, to have a draft. Because remember, it's over 3 nights, so maybe one night say, okay, I'm going to Green Bay, but maybe the second and third nights I'm going to hang out in Milwaukee at a draft event here at the Avenue.
Yeah,
there'll be a big crowd here at the Avenue, because you could have your number one pick up in Green Bay on the first night. He could be here on the second night in Milwaukee.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a way to kind of make this all about the region, kind of as we've seen up in Kohler, when we have these huge events in Kohler. It's not just about Kohler, trust me. Because I remember, I think it was 2008 or so when they had one of the first events in Kohler. Actually, it was earlier than that. I took a bus up from the Hyatt, where all the media was staying for that event. They weren't staying up in Kohler for that event. They were staying at the Hyatt, which is right around the corner here, Jeff. So the impact.
It's about statewide impact for sure. All right, as an agency that works to program local content around the Packers and other teams, the NFL Network has kind of said that this season of Hard Knocks on HBO, the in-season, could focus on an entire division rather than just a single team. The logistics and the money around that, it's got to be crazy. But you got to think, if they're going to pick one division to focus on, the NFL North has to be number one.
Well, the Bears and the Vikings and the Packers, the Lions,
Vikings, Aaron Jones.
The Lions story, they're obviously on the rise. Chicago with obviously the number one pick. The Packers just have a great quarterback with Jordan Love, and then him taking over, good team on the rise. And then the Vikings. I think it would make sense. Good size markets with obviously, because they always look at that in terms of Chicago,
right?
And Detroit and stuff. So I think it's a possibility.
Yeah.
It'd be fascinating. I would love to watch it, Jeff. That sounds like fun.
And the Bears have the number one pick in Caleb Williams.
And
obviously, the Lions were on the 2022 Hard Knocks show, and Dan Campbell was a superstar, and he leveraged his brand.
I learned about him on that show. I never really heard much about him, and I think he's a great coach because of that show. Just watching him and the way he interacted. So I think it's a great thing.
Yeah.
It'd be fascinating, but boy, that'd be great to watch in Green Bay. Can you imagine the stories you'd see out of Green Bay? Here's probably love at the grocery store.
Yeah.
Here's love eating at a restaurant. They are part of the community up there.
So if you had an opportunity then to kind of counsel a client who's preparing for that show, what would your advice be?
Use it as a great way for the brand. You can promote your brand tremendously on that show, just to show kind of what your players are like, how you treat your players, how you treat your staff, how that works. To me, it's great opportunity. It should be seen, and I don't think it's always seen that way. It's seen more as, oh my God, all these cameras are in our faces, and this is a tough thing.
Yeah.
But you should see it as an opportunity. It's a great way, and the brand in Green Bay is international, and to make it even stronger would be just so much better for that team. Think about what's going to go on in Brazil.
Yeah.
Think about the number of fans who are going to go to Brazil or are already in Brazil because of that G.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that G.
And it's just such an opportunity to further personalize and humanize the players and an area, and that's what it's all about. Ultimately, you watch a show like Hard Knocks, you're probably going to watch more of the games in the future too.
The Lions,
so it's about building the fan base.
I think the Lions are a great example, kind of with their coach. No one knew who he was until that show. He was an NFL player, not a great player, a good player, not a great player. Now everyone knows him and thinks he's a great coach.
All right, hoops. streaming rights, and more when we come back with Mark Cass. This is The Upswing, and you're listening to WTMJ.
People saw me and assumed I couldn't work. They only saw a disability, but I was ready to work. I am dependable, trainable, and productive. Then someone decided to believe in me and say yes.
And once you say yes, Thinkability Wisconsin will be there, providing transition and workforce support for people with disabilities and their employers to help shape a better future for all. It all starts when you say yes. Join the movement at thinkabilitywi.org.
Race fans, start your engines. It's time to make summer plans for fast family fun at Elkhart Lakes Road America. Experience 11 major races from vintage weekends to IndyCar. And new for 2024, Grid Life. Bring the entire family for affordable fun with on-site camping, free parking, and free admission for kids 16 and younger with the paying adult at the gate. See the full race schedule at roadamerica.com. Road America, America's national park of speed.
Steinhaffel's Memorial Day mattress sale is happening now. The new Temper Adapt is in stock and ready to get you the best night's sleep ever. Upgrade your sleep and save up to $500 on adjustable base sets. Shop in store and online at steinhaffels.com.
Welcome to our Everyday Health feature brought to you by the Freighter to the Medical College of Wisconsin Health Network. If you have chronic ringing or other sounds in your ears, you know how frustrating and disruptive it can be. To help us understand tinnitus and what you can do about it is Dr. Marcia Dewey, an audiologist who specializes in tinnitus with the Freighter and the Medical College of Wisconsin Health Network. Dr. Dewey, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Let's start with the basics. What is tinnitus?
So tinnitus is the perception of sounds that are inside of you that are not coming from the outside. Most of the time people refer to it as ringing in the ears, but it really can be any sound. So it can be ringing, buzzing, humming, hissing, static, pulsing, even music. It's more important really to understand what tinnitus is not. Tinnitus is not a disease. It does not harm you. It doesn't cause physical damage to your body. It is actually safe to hear. It is actually a benign condition that is most commonly associated with hearing loss.
Are there medications, supplements, or dietary changes that will help with tinnitus?
So there is no universal cure for tinnitus. That means that there's no single procedure, treatment, pill that we are going to be able to shut off tinnitus. So there is no specific recommendations for taking any type of medication or supplement. However, there are many different effective tools out there that we do use that can help people to manage their tinnitus.
So if tinnitus really bothers somebody, what can they do about it?
First, you can come to our program. Many people have hearing loss, so we may just fit you with hearing aids, and those will help you to hear better and also to calm the tinnitus sound down. We also use sounds in a therapeutic way so that we can help distract you from the tinnitus and make that tinnitus distress less. We educate you and give you counseling about what tinnitus is and what tinnitus isn't.
You can get a personalized plan, education, counseling, or sound therapy, proven methods for relief and success coping with tinnitus. Dr. Marcia Dewey, an audiologist, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you.
You can find a doctor who's right for you by visiting freighter.com.
Smile at you, and when you knock us down, we're going to get up. And on the way up, we're going to bite a kneecap off, all right? And we're going to stand up, and then it's going to take 2 more shots to knock us down, all right? And on the way up, we're going to take your other kneecap, and we're going to get up, and then it's going to take 3 shots to get us down. And when we do, we're going to take another hunk out of you. Before long, we're going to be the last one standing.
The business of sports with Mark Cass. This is The Upswing. Indeed, it's all about humanizing the teams to build more community, to create bigger fan bases. That's what it's all about. That was Coach Dan Adams.
I'm a little nervous hearing that, Jeff. Are you going to come over here? And
I got a whole script put together, Mark, and we're just going to go like, here, let's go. Let's win today.
That's right. If I don't perform well on the show, I'm going to get my kneecap knocked off. Wow, I love it. That's pressure. That's great.
So the WNBA debut last night for breakout star Caitlin Clark made her debut as point guard for the Indiana Fever. The game was on ESPN2, but also streamed live on Disney+, a service's first live sports event. Disney turned a profit in its streaming unit for the first time in the fiscal second quarter, and is like a lot of the streaming networks looking for more ways to dive in on live sports, because Tier 1 live sports, it's where the revenue and the fan base is, for sure. Did you watch the game? Kind of not a tough debut. She had 20 points and 10 turnovers.
Right. I did not, but I will say this. I was interested enough that I watched my phone a couple times. I checked it out. I mean, I watched it this morning on ESPN. I've never had an interest before. Not because of anything about the game. I just haven't had an interest.
Right.
But I do now. She and all these great players who are now coming into the league have just made it a must-watch and have changed the league. I mean, the fact that they could add charter flights as quickly as they could is a great indication of the revenue she's bringing in, she and other top players who went this year. So it's rare that you've seen a player other than like LeBron James when he came in who have changed a sport like she has.
Yeah.
And kind of when I say change the sport, have elevated it so much, so quickly, and brought in so much more revenue. I mean, the fact that she has a shoe deal.
Yeah.
Which is like, was it 8 or 9 times her salary?
Yeah.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. So I think I've just been so really kind of amazed by that.
Yeah, and it's great to see on the youth sports level, too. As a dad of a 12-year-old who plays basketball, we go to a lot of UWM women's games. We go to a lot of Marquette games. But now it's next level, and it's aspirational for young athletes, and that's what we need.
Well, it'll change the sport long term, won't it? I mean, think about kind of what he did. When I say he, I mean obviously through LeBron James, he changed a lot, going from high school to pro, and kind of what that meant to basketball. She has done that for this sport, for women's basketball.
Yeah.
She's changed it long term. There will be more girls who will play, more women who will play, more teams will make more money. We'll be able to increase their salaries because of the revenue. Mm-hmm. It's all a great thing, but I also was amazed. Didn't you think it was funny that her coach retired right after she left?
Yeah, right. She's like,
she's a legend.
Go out on top.
No doubt she's a legendary coach at Iowa, no doubt. But I thought, okay, you can't go out any more on top than that. I'm out.
Yeah. Well, as the WNBA looks for expansion and continues to kind of grow the league and the fan base, could Milwaukee be in that mix? Are there enough investors that see, all right, could we use Fiserv or another arena to hold the games?
I think it's out there because we have an NBA team. Anytime you have an NBA team, you've shown a fan support for it. I don't think we're kind of on the next rung. You've already seen that come out with some of that.
Yeah.
I don't see why not. We've shown we can support an NBA team. The Bucks won an NBA title. The Bucks are successful at the gate. They've done very well here. They've been here a long time. So I think there's an opportunity there. Is it something in the short term? No, I don't think it's short term, but it could. No. Again, we'll see what happens with this. Will this be a shot in the, kind of one shot in the arm for the league? I don't think so. I think she has elevated for it really for a long time to come.
Okay, when we come back from the break, I want to touch on the coaching change at UW Green Bay and then look into the oldest operating speedway in the world. Right here in our backyard, talking the business of sports with Mark Cass. This is The Upswing. I'm Jeff Sherman, and you are listening to WTMJ.
The biggest names in the basketball world.
Dame Dollar Lillard.
Having fun and honest conversations.
He puts it in the shoe, right? And sets the tone for brothers and sisters and family.
Every week, Thanasis Adetokounmpo sits down with special guests on Thanalysis Show. Presented by Potawatomi Casino Hotel and curbless, ready-to-drink cocktails.
Fantastic.
Find Thanalysis Show on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts. And on YouTube by searching Thanalysis Show.
Greg Mansick here for Holiday Automotive in Fond du Lac, proudly celebrating their 65th anniversary with a story dating back to 1959. This sales event is anchored in gratitude for generations of holiday fans everywhere to say thank you for your business, your loyalty, and trust over the years, and an invitation to you to experience the stuff that sets Holiday apart. Team Holiday makes car shopping fun and simple and pressure-free. Their transparent, simplified buying approach and follow-through, combined with a passion for delighting guests, has been making fans of Badger State drivers for over 6 decades. That's a lot of fans, and I'm one of them. With Memorial Day and summer near, now is perfect timing to connect with Holiday and explore all that's new from Chevrolet, Buick, and GMC. Score the season's best offers, get more for your trade, and enjoy Holiday's genuine hospitality. Find yours and discover the difference at Holiday, Chevrolet, Buick, and GMC, Highway 41 and 23 in Fond du Lac, and at holidaygm.com. It's worth the trip.
Fleet Farm's got everything you need for everyday life. Brands from Carhartt to Milwaukee to Purina to Goodyear to Rapala to Levi's and a whole lot more. In-store or online, check out all the brands Fleet Farm carries to help make your everyday life better.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
One of the best things about being in business for 25 years is having clients recommend AccuNet to their now adult children for help buying their first homes. That's how I connected with Dan and Allison, and let me tell you, they were fast learners. They quickly embraced our most powerful tool for winning offers, Appraisal Wiggle Room. Their first offer was $15,000 over asking and included a provision which Accunet guaranteed they could afford to make, that they would still pay the higher offer price even if the appraised value came in up to $15,000 short. The result? Accepted offer versus several others on the very first try. And by the way, if the appraisal had come in $15,000 short, which it did not, Dan and Allison would have needed exactly $0 extra at the closing table. If you think all mortgage lenders are the same, think again. Go with a multi-generation mortgage lender that has the tools and know-how to help you win. Click on the blue button today at accunet.com.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano here. We agree, right? Potholes stink. Now, recent weather means this could be one of the worst years yet. Johnson & Sons Paving is up to the challenge. This team has over 2 decades experience. When potholes pop up in your asphalt, Johnson & Sons Paving will patch them up or replace the whole parking lot. Take a look at johnsonsonspaving.com. Sign a parking lot paving contract before May 31st, and you might just get me out on the job site working with the crew. Find full contest details at WTMJ.com/contests.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
Welcome back to the Upswing, the business of sports today, joined by Mark Cass from the Wisconsin Athletic Hall of Fame. Several texters and a couple callers indeed mentioning at one time the Milwaukee Does were a part of the Women's Professional Basketball League, the WBL, that played at the now UWM Panther Arena in the late 70s, 78, 79.
I do remember, I'll be honest, I do remember the team. I do remember them playing here. I remember kind of who was involved. You and I were just talking about Ann Myers.
Ann Myers
was involved. Obviously, the former Bucks coach, Larry Costello, was involved.
Yeah.
So
Ann
cool.
Myers and her brother, Dave Myers, played for the team.
Bucks. Yep. So great history. Maybe it can come back. Wouldn't it be cool? Wouldn't you? I mean, be a lot of interest if they could pull it off.
Yeah.
You're going to invest, right? I think you got the money.
I'm in.
Jeff,
I'm in. The
Jeff
Shermans
Sherman,
are in. Yeah. Put us in.
We could call it the Milwaukee Shermans. What do you think?
Done. All right. Lots of change in college hoops. Aspirationally, I've always been a fan of the statewide tournament where, could we bring back Badgers, Marquette, UWM, and UW Green Bay into a preseason tournament. The logistics around that are tough. The sponsorship around that is tough. But it's even more compelling now, I think, with an even brighter spotlight on UW Green Bay.
Interesting hire. One that I didn't realize he finished second last year, so that's interesting there.
Yeah.
But the thing, I don't know about you, Jeff, the thing I found fascinating was that he gets to maintain his radio job.
Yeah.
So he'll be on the air for a couple hours a day, which means you have a future as a college
Exactly. Right. I may have to start
here,
a couple levels
and then
below
you can
that.
go to Marquette and you can be the next Shaka Smart. But I think it's a good thing. I think it's good for the league. I mean, anything that brings a spotlight on the league is good for Green Bay, good for Milwaukee, good for the whole league. So I think that's good. In terms of the tournament, I love that idea. I know there is a lot of interest in the league. I know there's some people who don't want to see it because it's. I mean, to be honest, great for Milwaukee.
Right.
That is great for Marquette.
Yeah.
Because of the risk. If you lose, it's obviously a big deal. So I've not heard of it being kind of talked about right now, but it'd be great to see at some point. It really would.
I mean, as a passionate fan, it's great to see all teams getting better. And I think that's what you want. That almost is as good as a tournament because when they compete and people are talking about all the teams and you have a big hire like Doug Gottlieb, who is a Milwaukee guy. His dad coached at UWM, brings back the spotlight to college hoops and teams that are already successful.
And how great was it kind of for this year when you had so much success over at Marquette? I mean, it was a great year. But you had all the energy and excitement over at Milwaukee with through Coach Lundy. And kind of what he's done. He's done a great job. Obviously with Green Bay and what's going on there. Obviously what's going on in Madison. So it's all on the upswing. There you go. How do you like that?
There you go.
I did that.
But
I think the excitement and energy is there. I'd love to see a tournament, but I think you and I might have to help kind of have that one happen.
Very good. So Road America starts their full schedule of racing this weekend with Vintage Festival weekend returning to Road America. So the 2024 season kicks off there. Obviously big plans at the Milwaukee Mile for this summer too. What do you see the impact of having Indy cars back in the market?
I think it's huge. I think think about it. I remember kind of as a kid, there was always the race kind of after Memorial Day that they had in Milwaukee, and it was always a big deal at the Milwaukee Mile. It's just the oldest racetrack, oldest oldest track here in the country.
Yeah.
I think it's good. I think anytime you can have an economic impact, which a race is going to have, it's going to have a number of days. It's going to mean hotels. It's going to mean restaurants. It's going to mean the energy, kind of the drivers. So I'm glad they're back. I think, I also think it's kind of the use of that facility, right?
Right.
It's not going anywhere. It's sure nice to see it used through that weekend, but even more so what it means is kind of to the region to have these big-time drivers here in the area.
Yeah. Obviously, the first time the IndyCar has been in the Milwaukee market since 2015.
Yeah.
So the summer return will be Labor Day weekend, racing Friday through Sunday. So it's August 30th through September 1st. So a lot of action on the Milwaukee Mile track.
And I remember going to a couple of those races, and I'm not a big race fan, but I went out there for a couple of them because I was asked to come out and see them. And it was exciting to see all the fans. They had some big crowds, 30,000, 40,000 people out there to watch those crowds. Even more so, they're spending money there and in the neighborhoods.
Well, and you look at the winners in the past too.
Yeah.
I mean, no matter race fan or not, people remember Michael Andretti had 5 wins in Milwaukee. Bobby Unser had 4 wins. Mario Andretti, AJ Foyt, Gordon Johncock, Johnny Rutherford. Those are big names in the spot. Now that's been taken over by Will Power and Scott Dixon. These are celebrities.
Celebrities, big names. And you know what you always hear them say is how much they love the track in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
How much that track, which is great. It's just great to see it used. And I mean, I give all the credits to all the people out at State Fair and with IndyCar who've worked really hard on this to bring it back, because it's another reason to come to Milwaukee in the summer. Think about the summer we're going to have, Jeff.
Yeah.
It's going to be an amazing summer with the RNC, with Summerfest, with Harley Fest, with State Fair, and then you end it with an IndyCar race.
That's right.
I mean, it's pretty much, we're not going to spend any time at home this summer.
That's right. It's beautiful. And you know what? We're going to get the Brewers continuing winning, and we're going to have a big playoff run for the Brewers.
Playoff run at the end, and it's just all great for the region. Anytime sports teams have success, it's great for the region.
Very good. Mark Cass, I appreciate your time. Taking time out of your day to join us to talk about the business of sports. We'll do it again soon. The Brewers and Pirates today play at 12:10, so that coverage begins at 11:35. But before that, a shortened version of Wisconsin's Midday News with Greg Matzik and Jessica Ty is coming up next. We'll see you tomorrow.
The Wintrust I-94 Series sweepstake is back. Located only 83 miles off of